This is She Goes Beyond, and I'm your host, Victoria Fregis. Here we're dedicated to changing the status quo and building a powerful community of women who can do it all. Who says you only have to be one thing? So grab your rod or your bow and tune in to the stories of women who love the same things that you do. You never know, you might just meet your next best friend. Buckle up because this episode delivers big time. I'm joined by none other than Taylor Drury Land from the legendary Drury Outdoors Team. We dive into her current Mathews bow setup, what she's shooting, how it's tuned, and the gear she trusts when it's time to get serious. But that's just the start. Taylor also shares how she and the rest of the Drury crew prepare for whitetail season, from food plots and trail cams to mindset and strategy. Whether you're a seasoned bow hunter or just getting your boots muddy, you'll walk away from this episode with real, actionable tips to help you prep smarter and hunt harder. Let's jump into it. Welcome, Taylor Drury Land.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this.
Yes, thank you for taking the time to spend it with me and with the audience there. I'm sure everyone is so excited. When I posted on Instagram that I was having you on, I had just messages just flowing in like, stop it, you got Taylor on the podcast. I'm like, yes, and it's going to be so great. So I'm super excited. I know that we only have an hour to chat, and that is okay. I've got my questions down to a T, so we should be good. But
I
I'm
love that.
super excited that you're here. And thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me. Like I said,
Yeah.
when we were kind of emailing back and forth, I'm like, I will always and forever jump on the opportunity to either speak with, do something fun, whatever it is with a female hunter. I'm all for it and about
I
that.
love it. I love that about you. So let's start with you grew up in the shadows of an iconic outdoor brand. At
Mhm.
what moment did you feel like you really stepped into like your own identity in the outdoor space?
Hmm. That's a really good question. I like that one. I feel like I would say stepped into my own per se. I mean, I know that probably has different definitions depending on who you ask, but I feel like when it truly became like a career, how I envisioned the rest of my life, where I saw the brand in it, all of that, and just a level of confidence, not being necessarily like the young kid that goes hunting with their dad anymore.
Yeah.
I would say kind of around like my 20s. I'm almost 30. I actually turned 30 in a week or a little bit over a week. Yeah, I feel like for like the last decade, I felt like that. Growing up, like you always just go through things and you're always kind of a tag along with your family and you do things that are, you'd go on the adventures that they bring you on and so forth. But I feel like the best answer I would say is like my young 20s, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's been a fun ride all along. Now, maybe I wouldn't have felt like that until I was 30 if I didn't start younger. Like I've worked for the family business for so long now that it really is. I mean, it's not the only thing I know. There's lots of aspects to my life, but it's definitely been front and center of my life since I mean, young, since I can remember. So.
Right. What do you think in your 20s really made that shift? Was it just being more like hands-on with like the actual like business side of things?
Yeah, I would say that's a lot of it. Just like understanding the business more because we are in a unique situation. Like we do hunt because we absolutely love it. We're passionate about it. I'm very, very passionate about what I put into my body. So the wild game eating aspect of it is like high priority for me. But yeah, I mean, then there's this other aspect to our family where it's like it is our career and it is our job. And it is like some people still don't understand. It's like I sit at this desk in my home for 40 hours a week and I work for the business. So, yeah, I think once you get into your 20s, like at least my brain was like, okay, what do I see myself doing my entire life? Like the rest of my career, I can always hunt and I can always go have fun and I can always do that. But like, what do I see myself within my career? How am I going to make money? How am I going to support my family? And I think that's, I don't know, it was just very clear to me that I wanted to do this for a long time. Now, maybe not for my entire life. I don't know. You never know, if
Yeah.
there's different opportunities. And I still feel confident in that decision, even a decade later, for
Yeah.
sure.
Sounds like the right decision then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been great. I truly cannot complain. I mean, it's a fun job. It's a job just like everyone else's, but we have an amazing team. We have the best people that I get to work with every day, and still get to, obviously have a lot of communication with family, which makes it even better.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Love that. If I could work with my dad every day, I question, would we get much done or
yeah. Or, or more arguing. You never know. It can go both ways.
so true.
Yeah.
Is there anything the audience watching like Jury Outdoors or you on social media didn't see on camera that really shaped who you are today?
I think probably what's hard to see on camera is how tight knit our family is. I mean, my parents are like my best friend. I do not, best friends, plural. I do not go a single day without talking to them, FaceTiming them, especially like I live in Utah. So there is some distance between us, but I think that is hard to tell on camera. It's like the shows and a lot of our semi-live stuff in social media, like it's structured around hunting, and conservation and things like that. But at the end of the day, like our family is so tight. My parents know everything about me. I mean, most things, everything about them. And I am just so grateful for that. I think that's why I chose this for like my career path too. It's like when you have that relationship with your parents and with your family for not just for work, right? It's not just for camera. We are just like this. And so I think that is really important and has helped the brand succeed too. It's like when you love who you work with, maybe people are family and they work too and they don't love each other. I don't know. But it's when you love each other and you get along, you can get a lot further, whether it's in life or in your job. So
Yeah.
that's something that I've always just been like extremely grateful to have such support on that end of
Yeah,
things.
absolutely.
Yeah.
As an avid outdoorsman, we obviously understand patience and discipline,
Yeah.
but what is your personal mental ritual before you head to the woods? Like any steps you would not miss heading out the door to hopefully see your target buck?
It's a good one too. I'm probably, I mean, I don't know if this is the best thing to say. I'm probably not as prepped as some people are. Like I'm more on the fly, trying to stay calm. That's not the best answer to your question, I know. But it's like I feel a typical day in hunting camp is like whitetail and deer talk. It just consumes the day, right? You're kind of in it from the time you wake up to the time you hunt. Like
Yeah.
that just does not change. Now, I think that almost like helps with the nerves a little bit. Not saying it helps with the nerves if the deer actually comes out in front of you. Then game's over, buck fever, full on.
Yeah.
Like in our camp, I mean, between my dad and the farm managers, which would be Wade and Perry, they're always over. They're always talking deer. They're always looking at their trail cam pictures. I mean, my dad, I bet, will go over the game plan. This is actually something that people don't realize either because you could never possibly film all of the thoughts that run through my dad's head and then air it. There wouldn't be enough time. The amount that he will like go over a game plan, double check it with others, change the game plan, revert back to the original one. Like it's a nonstop all day thing just for the hunt. So I think that's like definitely a ritual, or maybe that's not the right word for it, but that occurs every day, no question. So then by the time you get to the hunt, you're like, okay, I'm ready. Like we've been
Yeah.
talking about this for 6 hours now. But I feel like my main thing, like always lay out my clothes, make sure they're good to go. We're huge on scent, and so a lot of times it's like we'll either do a scent-free wash or we run them through ozone, which has been a game changer for us, honestly. Snacks, some water, and then if it's archery season, I will always shoot usually like 5 to 10 shots, depending on how I shoot those first 5 arrows. I'll either stop and say, all right, full confidence, or I'm like, oh, I really need to do that again. But I'd say that's like the biggest thing is I do not go on an archery hunt without shooting my bow first before the hunt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Like
And
you never
actually,
know
that's
when you get out there. You got to feel like, okay, my last arrow, like it's a killer arrow. I can go now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just are leading me perfectly into my next question. What bow are you currently shooting? Is it still the Mathews Prima?
So I no, it is a little bit different.
Okay.
And because so last season, honestly, it was like one of my worst seasons. Not for the bow. It was just a rough season. We hunted really, really hard with the bow. I think I hunted like 35 days with the
Oh my
bow.
gosh.
Never did kill a deer. It's fine. That's right. But we hunted really, really hard, like had about everything that could happen to us happen to us. But no, so I shot the Prima for I think 3 years. Yeah, absolutely amazing bow. And then last season, which I couldn't show it until like deep into the season, I think they launched it mid to late November. I can't remember exactly.
Okay.
But it is actually the Lift RS.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, just both phenomenal bows. Like, I was just messaging someone the other day on Instagram. They're like, I'm a female hunter. I'm getting into, archery. Which bow would you choose? This one or that one? And I'm like, honestly, it's hard to pick. Like, they're both just phenomenal. I have always been a lower pounded shooter. Usually I'm shooting anywhere between like 48 and 51 pounds. I'm just not someone that can pull 55, 60 pounds. And both bows have been extremely, I don't know, fitting for that, right?
Mhm.
I would say the best thing about this bow the new bow that I noticed last season is it's just an easier draw. Which is big for me. Like I can hold a bow much longer when you don't have that wall to get past.
Yeah,
And then just the overall weight of it. I don't know the exact difference between the two, like how
sure.
much less in weight it is. But you can tell. And that's another thing. It's like I definitely will notice my arm shaking fast, especially when you're holding back, on an animal. But this one just like it doesn't have that because the mass weight isn't as much. So,
Sure.
but just both like Matthews has completely got it going on. Like their technology,
Yeah.
especially for lower poundage people, is I mean, it's second to none. Like we've shot some other bows and there's just a big difference, especially when you're shooting at an animal, the penetration, like being able to zip through a deer at only shooting 48 pounds. And these are huge Missouri whitetails that we're talking about. Like our Midwest deer aren't small body deer. They're huge.
Hmm.
So to be able to pass through an animal that large at only 48-ish pounds is just awesome.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Any specific site and release that you like stand by?
yeah, so I honestly like the exact model. I wouldn't even go into that because I love the HHA. I've shot I think three different models. I'm kind of drawing a blank, like I should be able to remember these, but
No, that's
I've
okay.
shot an HHA site for probably 3, 4, 5 years now. Amazing site. I am one, I like more pins. I just do. I know so like my husband prefers a single pin, and I'm like, I would rather have a pin for every yardage.
Yeah.
Don't know. I've just always shot that way. So currently I'm shooting the HHA Rise, and it's a 5 pin. And I love that. Like I don't know, buck fever hits me and it's like I forget all things, including my name. So if I can have a pin for each yardage that I'm most likely going to use and not have to guesstimate or like a centerum, whatever you want to call it, I prefer that just to be like, okay, third pin, yes.
Yeah. Yep. I feel that.
Yeah, and then release wise, like I have just shot a True Fire release forever, just a pink one. I honestly think it's probably 5, 6, 7 years old. And I just refuse to ever switch. There's a lot of people that are like, you should try this release or this release, including my husband. And I'm like, nope, I like this good old fashioned release that I've had forever.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. With the site, I was like, what was I gonna say? The site. I am the same way. The last thing we need is me in the woods trying to
Right.
remember, like, or trying to like move my pin down or up or something. No, no. You want me to just focus on what I'm supposed to be doing out there.
Right. I agree with that. And some people are just so good. Like I know a lot of Western hunters, it's like they're typically they're gonna go with a rolling sight where they can, whatever the animal's at, 50, 60, 70, they're gonna roll it to that and beyond. I like that aspect of it. The sight I have, it does do that. We
Yeah.
have a sight tape on it, but I'm gonna do that at a target, especially with my poundage. Like I just don't flirt with the 50 and 60-yard shots. There's some
Mhm.
people that throw hate at that. I just don't for the sake of honestly my eyesight and like feeling comfortable. But the most important part is like again, it goes back to I mean these bought the animals that we're hunting in the Midwest, they're huge. And at 48 pounds, like shooting at 50 and 60 yards, like your arrow is dropping off a ton and your
Mhm.
kinetic energy is dropping off a ton. And so I just don't flirt with that based on like kind of some penetration risks, you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
But yeah, it is nice to have the sight tape, like for fun. My husband and I and friends, we shoot in the summer and it's like, yeah, let's have a 60-yard challenge, at the target. That's great. But usually like in the field, I will definitely keep myself, I mean, like 35 and in. It
Yeah.
depends. Like Western stuff, when I've hunted mule deer, hunted elk, we've added some yardage to that.
Yeah.
But with whitetails and the way that we hunt and the structure of things, 35 and in, really 30 and in, is doable for just the way that we hunt. So
Yep. Same. Are you running fixed blades or mechanical broadheads?
mechanical broadheads.
Okay.
I've never shot a fixed, probably won't ever. I mean, we have had tremendous luck with mechanicals. It's just hard to steer away when we've had this success that we've had with them. And especially with the blood trails, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's been great. We shot a certain broadhead for many, many, many years that performed amazing with us. And this is kind of a little tease, but my dad and my uncle and a team of people have been working on some heads for a while now. So that's
Nice.
here sooner than later. Yeah.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
Exciting. Let's talk through how your family and you are prepping for like the upcoming season, bow season specifically. So, what are you planting? When are you planting it? Camera setup, etc. We can start with like springtime, like what are you guys doing right now? And then we
Mhm.
can move into like midsummer right before September.
Yeah. So, and I can't, I mean, before I go into all this, I definitely can't say that I am doing it, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm very removed from the farm. My dad is very hands-on. We have two excellent people that are on the team and manage a lot of that stuff. So definitely not going to hide it. And anyone that watches Drury know that Wade and Perry are those two people, right?
Yeah,
Like
right.
they're we always like say who's the favorite. Dad could probably never pick. Wade's been with us longer, but he probably couldn't say who's the favorite. But right now they are in like well, during turkey season they were in full planting mode, like planting green. Right now I believe they're in mowing mode. But I feel like every week it differs with them. I mean, but right now it's like, okay, say I was there like the end of April, beginning of May, and they're planting, they basically turkey hunt in the morning with us and leave us about 11 a.m. noon when we get back for lunch, and then they're planting green fields until sometimes 11 at midnight, and then they're back up the next day to turkey hunt. So in archery, like you will always see us hunting over clover for the most part during archery season. We've just had tremendous luck with clover, and it's like the more green the better. And some years, I mean, there's a drought, and that's stuff that weighs on my dad, right? Like droughts are no joke for farmers and for hunters that are planting food plots for hunting purposes. But yeah, so definitely for archery, pretty much like September to the end of October, we're going to be over a green field. You can almost promise you that. And then camera wise, I am definitely not the person to even like speak on that. We have way too many people that know exactly what they're doing when it comes to cameras that I'm like, all right, we're gonna let you do your thing.
Right.
They just run all different types of cameras depending on the hunting situation, and then it's like, okay, someone kills a really big deer, then you got a photo crew coming in and doing photos with a DSLR. And then all of a sudden, okay, for our social stuff, we switch over to an iPhone. Like it is funny if I think of like the nights that we'll kill a deer, right? We get one on the ground and we're all about that camaraderie, just like get everyone together, that team feel. We really are. So it's like, okay, let's get Wade and Perry here. Let's get, some of the editor crews here and the people that shoot the photos. It's so fun to have everyone together, but it is crazy just because of the way that the brand works. It's like we're producing for television, we're also producing for a YouTube long form series. And then you also have that social side where you need those vertical reels. And it's like basically every step of the way, there's some type of different form of camera being used.
Yeah.
So it's a long list of gear, and I will props all of our editors. They prep the camera bags, they get them ready, they're charged, cards are ready. Because it's a lot of footage,
Yeah.
especially like if you're dad and you hunt mid-September, really early September. If he's going to like Alberta to January, it's a lot of filming, a
Yeah.
ton.
I cannot even imagine. So are you going home for the majority of the season in the fall, or do you bop back and forth?
Yeah, it's definitely changed over the last couple of years. Like my answer would have been really easy if it was a couple of years ago before I had my daughter, you
Mhm.
know. Before children, I would go for a much longer period of time where I was almost there for like months at a time. Now I will say it's kind of more of a hop in, hop out, but I'm still there. Like the hop ins are still long enough to do a lot of hunting, you
Sure.
know? It's just different when you have a child in the mix and like she's young, she can't take care of herself yet. She thinks she can, but she
Yeah.
can't. But yeah, it's a lot logistically to figure out. And it's like last season, I mean, huge, the biggest props to my mom. My mom's not a hunter, but she is always in hunting camp. Like she's one of those, like it doesn't bother her, you know, like she doesn't hate it. She's not an
Yeah.
anti-line, but she just doesn't want to do it herself. But she fully supports people that do, fully has supported my dad since day one. But my mom has come in clutch the last couple of years because it's like I show up and I mean, last year specifically, I think it was like 35 days that we bow hunted. I don't even remember. And she had my daughter for the majority of it. And it's like, it's a lot, you know,
Yeah.
because we drive to Missouri, hunt, drive back, and then, oh my gosh, I'm there already after bedtime. So,
Mhm.
anyways, I'm probably getting like long on this answer, but
No.
I used to stay for months. I would say now it's like I'll go for several weeks, come home, pop in for another couple weeks. I try and join my dad and Wade on the Texas trip, which that she stays back home. Kind of just depends on like the best scenario. My husband guides like August through January. So that does make it kind of hard to always find, you know, someone that can take care of her while we're hunting.
Yeah, for sure. That's got to make it a little tough. But
Yeah.
she's great. So,
Oh yeah, she like oh my gosh, she's the best thing ever. She is like full on just in it, like in the hunting. I don't know.
oh,
Like she's so young, but she's showing such a large interest in it. And it's like obviously that excites us as parents, but she's only two, you know, we're not talking about do you hear her screaming?
no.
She's being loud out there. Um, yeah, she shows a huge interest in it, especially like as she gets older. I mean, she just turned 2 a month ago, and we went to turkey camp right after her second birthday, and like the girl is just I don't know. She just wants to be fully immersed in it. And like by over the 2.5 weeks that we were there, like she could name every part of the wild turkey. Like people would roll in their trucks and she would immediately say, you know, did they get a turkey? And she does talk that good for a 2-year-old, which is
Oh
crazy
my
too. A lot
gosh.
does she? Because she talks a lot. But that's really exciting for me and Austin to see because we're like, okay, hopefully she loves it as much as we do because her birthday's April 21st, and I feel like we could slay a lot of turkeys on her birthdays.
Oh, yeah.
If she loves it as much as we feel like she does. So
Yeah.
see how that works out. But
Oh, I love that for you. That's got to be so exciting. I feel like just especially as a mom, like getting to see your
yeah.
daughter love
It's
it.
so sweet.
Oh.
And yeah, I mean, it's the best. Even like my dad, he's just like over the moon when she's in hunting camp because it's like that's my dad's life, you know, like
Yeah.
so much of his life has revolved around hunting and these camps and the productivity that comes from him and all those things. So to have her there now and like her interest showing through, I mean, pretty heavy, he's so in love.
Oh,
Because he's like,
love
you were
it.
like this when you were a little girl. Obviously, I don't remember being that young, but he's like, you always just showed an interest in it. You always wanted to be outside. You always wanted to touch the animal things, you know, all those things. And she's the exact same way. So I'm hoping that means that she loves it, right? But if she
Oh,
doesn't, so cool.
I think it does. I think it's a good sign.
I agree. We'll go with that.
This podcast is sponsored by Taylor & Co. Taylor & Co. is a mother-daughter nurse duo-owned business specializing in handcrafted, all-natural self-care products and services with an emphasis on health, wellness, and holistic healing. Their products are handcrafted in Minnesota with pure, natural, and organic ingredients. They offer wellness services such as yoga classes, Reiki healing, and more. You can find them on Instagram or online at taylorandco.boutique. Okay, now talk us through how you and your dad are hunting throughout each part of the season. So, like pre-rut, rut, post-rut. You talked to us a little bit about the clover, but give us even a little bit more detail.
Yeah, so I think the biggest difference, I mean, kind of a cut and dry answer is like in the early season with a bow in our hands, we're going to be on green and it's hot, right? Like if there's any chance that we can be around water, watering hole, maybe it's man-made, maybe it's not, we're going to be on water too. Another thing that has been very successful for us during archery is scrape trees. I don't want to say that my dad's the inventor of them, but I don't know if anyone did it before him. I don't know. Someone might fact check me on this, but it's like they plant these smaller trees in the middle of the food plot at 25, 30 yards, and it has been insane for deer traffic. Like they plant them in the summertime, so it's not like you're not being intrusive, you're not going into the farm and planting it during your hunting periods, right? Like the
Mhm.
trees have been there. It gives the animal plenty of time to get used to it, not feel as weird that there's a tree popping up. But it's just crazy. Like every green field that we have that has a scrape tree, I mean, there's just trails everywhere to and from it. And normally it's like the closer that you're getting to the rut and we're still on green a little bit, sometimes phasing out to beans. Like we have scrape trees and bean fields too. But I mean, those deer will hit the scrape tree in the middle of the plot and just tear it to shreds. Like oftentimes we'll hunt there one night. Oh, wind's going to be the same. Deer's in there. Let's go back the next night. And all of a sudden the limbs are all gone because some buck tore it off in the middle of the night. So
Oh my gosh.
that's a huge tactic of ours, I would say earlier in the season. And in the later season, yeah, when they're like post rut, when they're getting back on food and they can't stay off of it, they're back in the plots. Not necessarily as much on the scrape trees, but a little bit.
Sure.
Um, but I feel like then when, I mean, really the 2 seasons that I'm hitting, especially with having Mabry, but like trying to like capitalize on the time that I have to go, then it's definitely like a fraction of what I used to. But it's gonna be, it's like it's gonna be your archery season. It's also gonna be rifle season. So rifle season, like in Missouri specifically, is gonna hit mid to late November. And by then, I mean, we're pretty much on grain, like we're either over beans, sometimes corn. With a rifle, it's nice. Obviously, you don't have to have the deer at 25 yards.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think grain versus grain based on the heat, based on the season, based on the weather. I think the weather is the biggest thing. Like I would say well, no, I wouldn't just say it. It's a fact that the way I grew up hunting with my dad, learning from him, is he is a weather-oriented hunter 100% through and through. And that's why they created DeerCast, right? Like our app is a predictive model for whitetail deer movement based on weather. And it is amazing. Like it's actually insane how accurate that algorithm is. I mean, they tweaked it for years and years and years. But it's like if our weather is not perfect or the pressure's just in the ground or it's hot when historically it should be 10 degrees lower, whatever it is, like if we don't have prime weather, sometimes we just will not go. And then you can kind of check your cameras later on. You're like, well, that was a good decision. Like very rarely have we skipped out on a hunt because of poor weather and then seen high deer movement on a camera. It always mimics, you know?
Okay.
So I would say, I mean, weather literally dictates our hunting. It absolutely does.
Talk
But
to
yeah,
us, tell
that
us
was
how.
a
No, no, that was a great answer. And actually, one of my questions was for you to talk more about that app. So just tell us how you're deciding, like for people who don't know, like wind references and things like that, like what do you mean if the wind isn't right?
So not necessarily wind. Like
Okay.
obviously we won't, well, I guess within the app, not really wind, but
Okay.
within just like our hunt to hunt decisions, yes. Like we will go after a deer very occasional if the wind is dead wrong, right? So if you're sitting in a blind or you're sitting in a tree or whatever, and your wind is blowing right over where the deer bed or where they come from, we normally don't push that. Sometimes, like on a very, very rare occasion, we will, but it's like we don't do that without an insane amount of scent elimination prep before the hunt.
Hmm.
And it's still never going to be 100%. Like no matter what technology you use to remove scent, you're still a human that's putting the clothes on, right? Like you cannot remove all scent. So yeah, when it comes to wind, we usually hunt with the wind right. It's like we want the wind in our face and we want it to stay consistent all evening. A lot of times, I mean, in the Midwest, it's kind of what I can speak on the most. That's
Yeah.
where I grew up, and that's where we hunt. But it's like all of a sudden your wind direction to start the hunt at 4 p.m. is X. But then by 7 p.m., when you're basically at buck 30, your wind's like curling back over them. And sometimes like we will start hunting a tad later if that's the case, if it's not prime conditions, just because it's like wind plays such a big role. And if you're walking into a stand and your wind's wrong, and then you get to your blind and later that evening you're like, man, that hunt was so much slower than I thought, and this is what the app cannot predict. It's like that is human intrusion,
Mhm.
right? Like you intruded the bedding area with your human scent over the bedding area before you even got there. So you don't even know what ran off. You don't even know what was going to come out because they're gone.
Right.
So whitetails, they don't tolerate a lot. But then on the other side of it, when it comes to the app, our app is an algorithm. Okay. A lot of times you hear of social media algorithms, but Deercast is an algorithm that pumps out prediction for whitetail movement depending on your location. You can kind of customize it even more if you've hunted the same area for a long period of time and you kind of have an idea of their peak estrus state. You can enter that, and that will even fluctuate it. But it's the 13 main weather factors that my dad and Terry said, okay, here are the 13 things that we've seen in the last 80 years combined of hunting, and, obviously they've hunted more days than most just because of the structure of business and what they do. But they're like, here's the 13 factors, weather, that dictate whether a deer is going to move or whether they aren't. Are they going to be nocturnal? Are they going to move during daylight hours? And it was a very, very long, I don't even know how long anymore, but it took years to put together this algorithm because it's like there was a lot of beta testing on our end, right? There was a hand selected group that had the app and tested it for seasons. And then it's like based on that feedback, like if the algorithm kind of pumped out all the weather factors and said, the movement's going to be good, and then that person went and hunted and it wasn't, okay, that feedback came back. They looked at the algorithm. Let's tweak it a tad and this and this and this. Let's try it again. So the app did not get launched until there was a very high confidence level of accuracy.
Yeah.
It's like that's what people want, right? If you're going to download an app and if you're going to spend like a hard-earned dollar on it, you need to trust it. But it's taught me so much. Like, yes, I've learned a lot from my dad over the years. But when you look at the app and it's like, okay, if it tells you bad, the movement's going to be bad. Then if you just lightly breeze through, well, what are my weather conditions tonight? Oh, okay, it's thick clouds. Oh, okay, the pressure's really low. Oh, okay, again, like the temperature is 10 degrees higher than it normally would have been. Those things start to click in your brain. Like every time it pumps out bad, those are the factors. But every time it pumps out a good, it's kind of the opposite. Your pressure's sky high. It's sunshine. It's 5 degrees cooler than historic, like all those things. And that's taught me a ton.
Hmm.
Like it's weird how your brain just kind of like flocks to those things that when you look at it every day for a certain amount of time, you catch on. But I think even for a new hunter, like it is such a tool, if you're just getting into hunting, to learn from.
Yeah.
Like, and if you're one of those people that's like, you know what, I only have 3 to 5 days to hunt a year, or I'm going to take my entire work vacation to hunt, like use the app to help you decide that. But yeah, it's been pretty awesome to watch them develop like such a useful tool that teaches people why they should hunt when they hunt.
Yeah, absolutely. So is it predicting out too? So like you said, you could use it for like if I
Yeah.
want to take vacation next week. So it's going to tell me, does it change to like as the days go on? Like could it be like,
Yeah.
oh, no, never mind. It's going to actually be good next week.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's hooked up to all the weather data that's coming into your zip code, right?
Sure.
So I would say for the most part, like it's going to stay pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Like it's just like you checking your day-to-day weather. Take the predictive model and everything about it. Like it's rare that say you looked up tomorrow and it says sunny, but then you wake up and it's like severe thunderstorms. Like
Yeah.
those type of weather cells, I think, are abnormal, right? They
Hmm.
can happen. But for the most part, like weather is pretty consistent in the
Yeah.
matter of like a front's gonna do its front thing and it's gonna stay or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can look 14 days out in advance and it's going to pump out the predictive model for those 14 days, AM and PM. And that's a crazy thing too. It's like sometimes when you wake up in the morning, you're going to see that the movement was okay, but maybe the pressure was on the rise, like the pressure's low in the morning and all of a sudden by evening it's raised. Well, that's going to bring your predictive model up. So all of a sudden the AM was okay and the PM was good. And that also helps people differentiate when morning and evening hunting is better. Like there's a lot of parts of the years of the season, not years, of the season where your AM is going to be better, and
Yeah.
then there's a lot of parts of the season where it's like we'll only evening hunt
Hmm.
just because that's when things make the most sense and that's when deer movement picks up.
Yeah. That makes total sense. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to
It's
really
really
look into that.
incredible tool. Especially, it's like if you work full time, like the average person, and you have limited time to hunt, if you are able to make those game time decisions, like if you can look at deer cast in the morning and it's saying, okay, it's going to be good or great in the evening, I would go.
Yeah. Love that. Okay. How are you guys using your trail cam data to pattern your bucks? Like, is it just a matter of, okay, that buck is on that camera, they're likely eating there or like embedding in that area? Or like, is there a different way that you're looking at your trail cam photos?
I would say we are kind of a special. I mean, I know a lot of people do this. There are enough die hunters out there, especially whitetail hunters, that absolutely have years and years worth of trail cam data. But my dad is very much, and again, I don't like to like say that, oh yeah, I'm looking through all these pictures and like I'm doing this. Like
Yeah.
absolutely involved when I'm there and I'm constantly listening to him and he's constantly sending me pictures when I'm home, like look at these hit list deer and stuff like that. But as far as like how he hunts them and how my dad uses trail cams, kind of that obviously benefits the way that I hunt when I'm there, is years and years worth of pictures. And he does have like a visual brain that just remembers stuff. I mean, I'm always amazed by that. But what I've learned from him, I think that is the most interesting and that people could benefit of it. It's like even if you have a small tract, and I'm not just talking big farms either. We've killed a lot of deer off of 30 and 40 acre pieces, year after year. But if you can have a trail cam in an area, and obviously there's a lot of things that go into that, like you want them hung in high traffic areas and you want them kind of where they're coming in and out of bedding. Now, a lot of time, like on the scrape trees that I've referred to, we will have a camera on the scrape tree. It's just kind of a center area that is pulling that animal to there. So I think as long as you have them hung in the right spots, and he will move them as well. You get into the rut, okay, there's scrapes everywhere. Move it to a scrape, right? Like you can see it with your own eyes. You might as well put it where you know the activity is.
Hmm.
I guess like how they've benefited us the most is a deer that is obviously aging just like a human is, like their patterns stay very similar. Now you will have the occasion where all of a sudden a deer disappears and you see him on a different farm 2 miles away, that you can't explain. Like there's a
Right.
lot of things that will take a deer elsewhere, a doe. Like if your deer disappeared during certain times of the year, you pretty much know where they are and you could just hope that they didn't get shot by the neighbor.
Right.
Happens often, and you just never see that again. But a deer that's kind of a homebody, like lives more in the middle of your farm, lives in some thick tent, like yes, they'll come to a food plot and we'll get pictures of them on the plot, but it's like they're just surrounded by thick cover, and they're most likely not going to leave the thick cover when they can go to the middle for food. He will have just like years of, and even if it's 2 years, but sometimes, I mean, we've had history with deer that's like 5, 6, 7 years of history. And they are, it's not like they're predictable. It's still a wild animal, but they have a lot of the same tendencies and like the distances that they travel when they show up to the farm, like like after summer velvet, things like that. Or do they disappear from the rut every year? They do a lot of the same things year by year. And like my dad does hunt specific deer like that. Like he's like, okay, the last 3 years this deer has showed up on around this date within a week or so, but then he disappears. So if we're going to kill this deer, we absolutely have to hunt him smart during these few weeks
Hmm.
because then historically, we don't get another picture of him until late season. So I've always found that insanely fascinating. And granted, he looks at, I don't know, a million I don't know the number. We're just gonna say a million. Seems like a million photos a year. But yeah, they are very like routine animals. Not 100%, still a wild animal.
Yep.
Humans aren't predictable either. But it's amazing like what a trail cam can teach you year to year if you save all those images. Like make folders, make subfolders of exactly what camera, what food plot you had it on. Like label them with certain dates because then when you look in the couple years prior, you might be like, "Oh, this is that deer and he blew up this year." And look, he's back within the same 3 days that he's been back. Like there's a lot of themes that carry on if you watch them close enough and use enough trail cams in an area. I think it's like one of the coolest thing about whitetail hunting. I mean, it's hard enough to have a successful hunt, right?
Hmm.
Like the killing portion or an actual releasing an arrow or shooting the gun is like the small inkling of hunting, you know?
Yeah, that's not really why we do it. We want to
No,
be out there.
absolutely not. It helps, obviously,
Yeah.
like it fills the freezer. And that's the main thing that I love about it. But yeah, I mean, there is so much to know about a wild animal and especially a whitetail, but it's like when you do like, I don't know, when you spend that much time analyzing them and trying to figure things out, you become such a better hunter because you understand like how where they live. Why are they on this plot? Okay, what's the weather? What's the wind tonight? Oh, we should wait another couple days to hunt them. And I think the other thing that I've always noticed about my dad, he hunts like very slow and methodical. And I don't mean like Western style. I'm talking like he ain't going in his blind at 100 miles an hour. He's not driving his truck all the way in and getting out. Like he just hunts really, really smart.
Yeah.
And even if there's a big deer in there and he has a picture, if the conditions aren't perfect, he's most likely not going in. I think a lot of people do. Yeah, maybe it's limited on time, and that makes sense. But he just hunts really, really smart. And if you do that enough times, it's like you're more likely to run into that animal than if you didn't hunt them smart.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes really good sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, and if you have the time and the ability to be slower and more methodical, you should do it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
He's even like that with turkeys. The dude
Ah,
will spend hours on one turkey, where most people are like, "Oh, let's go try the next one." He's like, "But why? Like we're on a turkey, just give him the time." And he's always like very smart when he hunts, but that's in my opinion why he's had the success that he
yeah,
had.
absolutely. Okay, how do you handle the pressure of being successful with like things that happen like, okay, let's just say bad weather comes and you didn't know about it. I know now we have a lot more apps
Yeah.
and things that we can use to like predict that, but like let's say something happens or a bad shot. How are you staying like positive in those like scenarios?
Yeah. Weather, I don't really feel like weather bothers us like too much. Yeah, we feel down and stuff. We're like, Man, like this started out as what it was going to be a good day, and now here comes a nasty front and it's going to stink. But I look at that. Sometimes will we skip the hunt? Maybe occasionally. I mean, if it's 100 degrees, sure, we'll stay back. But it's like, hey, we still get to hunt. Usually I get to hunt with dad, so it's like still time that I get with him. Obviously, with me living, 1,200 miles away,
Yeah.
like I will even hunt the bad weather just if we get to hang out. The bad shots, that is, I don't know, that it's the worst feeling in the world. Like no one or a hunter could not explain to a non-hunter like exactly how terrible it feels.
No, no
And
one
I
will
think
ever understand.
the more terrible it feels is because it's you care more,
Yep.
right? Like it should feel terrible if you
Mhm.
make a bad shot. It should feel terrible if you're tracking the deer and you're 500 yards in and you're losing blood. Like it's the worst. But it's like we're human, and everybody makes mistakes. They do. I think like I'd say it's very rare that a hunter on this planet has not made a bad shot. Maybe they haven't lost a deer ever. I feel like that's almost rare too, but say they haven't lost a deer, like you've still made a mediocre shot here and there,
Mhm.
right? Like it's not, especially with archery hunting. Like archery hunting is hard. I am always amazed by these professional shooters that can hit like a dime at these distances. I mean, there's a special group of people, not very many of them on the planet that are just, they were born to shoot
Yeah.
and can do it every single shot consistently. But for them, I would say for the average hunter, I know myself, like it's hard,
Hmm.
and I'm not an amazing target shooter. I'm really not. Like, yeah, can I probably hit a baseball dot? Yes, I can, but like consistently over and over and over again, no. Do my arrows always touch? No, they don't. But I feel like the bad shot thing, I mean, that's just really hard.
Yeah.
And it all goes back to we also track slow. We we track slower than we hunt, if that tells you anything. Like we've had these conversations so many times in camp of like how many animals do you think are lost because the hunter went in too quick, you know? And we have a huge advantage because we don't shoot animals off film. So we are always able to reference and like I will push anybody, even if you're not filming for a show and you're not filming for social media, who cares? If you can set your phone up on like a little mini Amazon tripod and click that red button on your phone and just let it roll and shoot the animal, hopefully it would be in frame. Like seeing that shot is a night and day difference of how you're going to track. Because in my opinion, like we've seen many times, and we're always filming again, so it's like we know that like we have that confidence. We're going to be able to go put it on a big screen and watch it and
Yeah.
analyze and video it and see what people think. But if you're not one of those people, but you do have the iPhone video, like if your eyes in the moment with buck fever think that you smoked them and you double lunged them, but you had a video of it and you went back and you're like, no, actually, I'm like behind the lungs and I'm probably liver. That's a totally different track job than your double lung shot would have been, right? You're gonna wait an hour and you're gonna go get your deer if it's the
Hmm.
double. But all of a sudden you watched it. Oh, it's 2 inches further back than I think. Like right up and it's correct up and down, but it's back.
Hmm.
Okay, liver deer. I mean, sometimes you can wait 14 and 16 hours and the animal has not expired. So that's another thing. Like, if anybody ever has the opportunity to just have their cell phone on a cheap little tripod, try to film it, even have it on a wide view because you can go and airplay that on a TV. I think it would help more hunters recover their animal because they're gonna know exactly like buck fever's gone. Like it's the video. You can't lie with what you saw. There's a
Right.
lot of people that are like, oh, I smoked him, but then you go and even we video, right? Like I felt like I smoked him before and we went back and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that was not where I thought it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, we track extremely slow. Like we will wait hours to even, and we don't take peeks at our arrows. We don't do any of that. We absolutely eject as quietly as possible. We don't celebrate till our hands are on the deer. I mean, it's like the slower you track and the more time you give them to expire when they need it, the more likely you are to find your animal. But it's like if you're climbing out fast and you're going after I don't know, a liver hit deer and you bump him immediately, like your odds of finding him are, I wouldn't say none, but definitely a lot lower than they were before you got out of the blind, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great. Great tip, honestly. Don't push your deer. I think the only time I've ever like done it, like got down and went straight to the animal is if I've seen it fall. Otherwise,
Yes. And yeah. And my dad and Terry's like saying, I think they come up with it. They came up with it, but it's like when in doubt, back out.
yeah,
So
it's
like
brilliant.
I think it is just a smoking shot. Like if you wait 5 minutes or you wait 3 hours, but the end result is still getting your hands on the deer, why not just wait to
Yeah.
make
Yep.
because stumping an animal usually doesn't always end up great, you
No.
know?
No, absolutely not. Okay, we only have a little bit longer. Let's plow through these questions. What are your ride or die gear items? Like, what do you bring into the bow stand? You kind of mentioned it already, but like, tell us what camo you're bringing or like what camo you're wearing, anything specifically that you're bringing out with you.
Camo, easy. We're in like all muddy. It's the TRX line. Absolutely love it. It's just it fits good as a female, like smaller frame. It fits me well, which I like. I don't like things boxy. It's like I don't want to feel like I'm in like a nightgown. I want to feel like I'm in an outfit to go hunting. But yeah, so we're in the muddy TRX line, top to bottom. Patterns like changing. We usually wear bottomland during the fall. This past spring we were in greenleaf. Like they brought greenleaf back. It's one of the OG patterns. It's stunning on the apparel. But as far as like go-to gear that I will always have in my pack, is definitely binoculars. We run loopholes. I mean, the glass is amazing. Like it's really, really good for low light too. You know, like when your eyes are starting to get, oh man, like it's still legal lighting, but like my eyesight is not amazing. I always wear glasses hunting. But yeah, I always have a loophole binoculars. The BX4 are next level and new. If people have the opportunity to like test them, see them, go to a store, because they are binoculars and rangefinder. So the
Ooh.
like two in one is amazing. Outside of that, yeah, I mean, during archery, I always have my release. I'm like, why am I drawing a blank? I always have my release. Sometimes I won't bring the BX4, so it's like I do have binoculars and then a rangefinder, just depending on like our hunt setup
Hmm.
that day. Yeah, outside of that, I always have extra arrows like in my quiver if something were to happen. I always have extra broadheads, maybe a snack, and a bottle of water.
Love it.
Yeah, like that's about my pack.
That's perfect.
My dad's always feels like 100 pounds and mine's like 5. I'm like, sorry.
He's got the whole kitchen sink in there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Any popular items that you think are overrated to take hunting?
That's a good one. I don't know. I don't feel like I do. I am very much like how people want to hunt, they hunt,
Yeah.
right? I'm just not one of those people that's like, man, you don't hunt like us. Like, we don't. It's like, if people think they need XYZ or ABC, XYZ, whatever, take it. Like, my dad is definitely one of those, but it's like, I almost can't say any item is overrated because it's amazing the amount of times where we've just had like something weird go on, and all of a sudden he has this in his bag. Like, oh, here's some rope, or oh, here's some Gorilla Tape, or oh, here's trimmers. I mean, like, whatever, he has it. So I don't know that I would call any item overrated.
Okay.
I really
That's
don't.
okay.
Like, if it can benefit the way you hunt or potentially help you or a problem that you run into, great.
Bring it with.
Yeah.
What is something that you're super proud of yourself for that maybe you've never shared with other people? Something you've accomplished.
I'm not one to like clap myself.
Clap yourself on the back, Taylor. We want to know.
Okay. I would say like what people don't see that I feel like, yeah, I'm proud of myself or feel like inner confidence from is juggling a career and motherhood. It's harder than I ever thought it would be. It
Hmm.
really is. It's beautiful and it's rewarding. And it's better than I thought it would be, but it's also hard.
Yeah.
Like the mom guilt thing, I never understand that. I now understand that. Like I dump a lot of hours of my day, my week, my life into a career. And I do in this room specifically. A lot of hours in here that I'm not with her, and I
Yeah.
do feel guilt on that. But like I also have such a self-fulfillment of like my job, what I've accomplished in the last 10 plus years, who I work with. And I do feel like I'm an asset to the company, And again, I don't like to like sit here and props myself. I'm just not that type of person. But it's definitely been like over the last 2 years, I've grown a lot. It's like learning how to be a mother and how to provide and how to nurture someone, and then also how to flip the switch and turn on your working ears and brain and accomplish the day and then tap out of that and go back into motherhood. It was definitely a learning curve. Like at first, maybe every mom feels like this, maybe they don't. I definitely did. I was like, how am I going to do this? Like, how
Mhm.
is this possible? How can I be such a great mom? And also, how can I be a great employee? How can I be this and that? Like you kind of have two roles now, where before motherhood, you basically have one. That's not to say, yes, there's other aspects of life, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
the same. So I would say I'm proud of myself in that matter. Like it's been the biggest growing period. And I've changed the most in the last 2 years, like than I ever have in my entire life. Like my mindset, my perspective, the things that I care about, the things that I don't care about, like all that has just changed.
Yeah.
I used to like be on my phone nonstop. Like this sounds crazy. I run our social media, not like exactly pages, but like I manage our digital team for the brand. But like from the time that work's over till the evening, you won't even catch me on my phone. And it's like, that is just so different from how I used to be. Like, I was very much like always on my phone, finding trends, finding audio, finding all this stuff. I was like almost consumed with it. I would say
Mhm.
more than I needed to be, but I was definitely a phone user. Now it will be like an evening, and I'm like, I have not seen my phone for 3 hours. Oh yeah, it's in the car from the time I ran an errand with Mabry. Like, there's just a lot of changes, and I like that about myself. Like, I have, not to say I've taken a step back. Day to day with the brand, I'm still very much here. But yes, on personal stuff and social media, I've taken a major step back, and it's been very good for like my mental health. I
Healthy.
always feel like, oh, I have to post or oh, I have to make this real. Maybe I'll get there again someday, but like as far as on a personal note, I get more out of being her mom than I do posting, you
Yeah.
know?
I love that for you. It's also very healthy. Just there's
Yes,
nothing that great on there if I'm gonna be honest.
it's hard. Yeah, you scroll and you look at other influencers and you look at other people and you're like, "Oh my gosh, like why do I not look like that every
Yeah.
day?" Or like, "Oh my gosh, like their kids sleep all night? What's happened to my?" It's just like so easy to get on social media and
Yeah.
but yeah, I would feel like I'm at a time in my life where I don't anymore. Like I don't feel the need to. I know what's best for me, and that is a nice feeling to
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
you know. So,
Okay,
yeah.
I've got some rapid fire questions to ask just to get to know you a little bit more on a personal level.
Okay.
So, what is your coffee order?
Oh, this is the easy one. I am a Starbucks addict. Not gonna lie. It's a venti vanilla sweet cream cold brew with a half pump of hazelnut.
Oof. Yum. I love that you just like knew it right off the bat.
Yeah.
Biggest fear in life.
Death.
Ugh, yeah. Oh,
Like
go ahead.
I know where I'm going. I don't like death.
And
It's not good. I can't even think about like I just can't.
no,
Yeah.
I also can't think about it. Like, don't talk to me about it. We're just gonna,
Some people can, and I've loved that for them, but
yeah,
I will avoid the conversation of death at all costs.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Biggest fear in the woods?
Literally any loud noise when it's in the dark. My dad like will play the worst jokes on me. I mean, if we are in the dark walking to a stand, whether it's like bright in the morning during turkey season or in the evening during deer, if I hear a loud noise, like I'm just done. I'm
I'm
white,
out.
old. I'm like I can't. But I would say like I I have a hatred for snakes. And out here in Utah, mountain lions. Like it's a
Mm.
real threat. So no thanks on both of those.
Are you more of a yes girl or let me think on it?
Ooh, depends the situation.
Okay.
I would say I'm kind of down the middle. I'm very much a planner. I like to have everything in line. I'm very type A, especially since having a mother, you got to plan.
Yeah.
Or having a mother, being a mother.
Yeah.
But I'm also for like if someone has a good idea or something we could do within the company or like, hey, we should travel here and it makes sense. I'm very much a yes girl. Like I will figure things out to make sure it's a yes, if that
Hmm.
makes
Yes, that does make sense. So you're like planning for the yes.
sense. Yeah.
What instantly puts you in a good mood?
Music.
Ooh. Yeah.
I could say so many things like my family, my parents, my
Right.
dog, obviously, but like something outside of like human interaction. I'm a social butterfly. But music. I am like people that are close to me know that I have like an obsession with music. I listen to music of all genres literally all day long. Every car ride, I'm just crazy over music.
Go to comfort food.
Pasta.
Ooh.
For
Yes.
sure pasta. Because I don't eat a ton of it. And so that would be, yeah, mac and cheese to be
Yeah.
specific.
Okay, I already know you're a planner. You're not like you're probably spontaneous in certain ways, but you're more of a planner.
Yeah, I like to plan. I feel like when you plan, less things go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's a side of you that people wouldn't expect outside of like hunting, momming, and like fashion? Because I know you
love
love
fashion.
fashion.
Something they wouldn't know about, like an interest.
Yeah.
Mhm. I have like a passionate interest for interior design.
Ooh.
Like love looking at homes. I love decorating. Like I literally it's like one of my hobbies. I feel like it's bizarre. I will just like redecorate and repurpose things in our house nonstop. Like my husband's like, "Oh, why did you get that?" I'm like, "No, we've had it. I just moved it."
Yeah.
But love interior design. Like if I did not do this as a career, I would 100% do like real estate slash like staging model homes.
Biggest pet peeve.
People that smack their food and gun. Can't.
And not.
I cannot. I also can't deal with people that when you hold the door open for them and they walk past you and they don't thank you.
Yeah.
Is
What
that a
is
pet?
that?
But biggest pet peeve, like I cannot listen to people chew. If I can even hear people eat chips, like it instantly puts me in a bad mood.
Gross.
Yes.
And my last question was going to be if you weren't doing what you do now, what would you do? And you just told us. So I'm going to just really quick circle back to another question that I was going to ask you is what would you tell a girl who is trying to get started into bow hunting? What advice would you give her?
Best advice would just be, I think number one is like become knowledgeable, right? Like identify the things that are going to be the most ethical in the field. Like how do you become a better shot? How do you prepare for hunting? What's the gear that you need to have to be more successful? And I think like gaining knowledge. And in this day and age, there's so much out there for free, especially on YouTube, that it's like if you just kind of spend some time like watching people that have done it for a long time and you listen and you kind of take mental, whether it's mental notes or written notes, you can learn a lot. And I think the second thing is like be confident in the decision to become a bow hunter. Like be proud of that because the more proud you are and the more you talk about it, the more people that you're going to bring into your life that like it too. If you hide something, people don't know that you're into it. So I think not being loud about it, but like being proud and surrounding yourself with other people that have done it, or at least like trying to get to know them, like accepting help. And yeah, be confident. I think like the third thing would be once you actually, okay, you make it to the field, like you're on your hunt, like be confident in the fact that you have the gear, you've done the time learning about it, you've put in the hours on the range to learn how to shoot and know what to do in certain situations. Like be confident when an animal presents you that shot. The worst position you can be in is if you're being presented a shot and your mind and everything that you've ran through, your mind is gone.
Yeah.
Like my dad always says, which came from Jim Tomey, he's a bit Hall of Famer baseball player, slow the game down. And I basically tell it, and I'm by no means an expert. Like I've made some really bad shots, but in my mind, I always say slow the game down. Like do your mental checklist of like what you need to do and be confident and execute it so that you don't have regrets after the shot. It's
Yeah.
kind of a one-step answer, but yeah, that's
No,
what I would
that was a beautiful answer. Such a good
think.
answer. It's like you had thought that out or something.
And number four, don't ever let someone tell you online that you shouldn't hunt because we do
No.
not stand for that.
No, no,
You
you.
thick skin if you're gonna post an animal online because look out.
Oh man, Taylor, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here, for talking through all of this with us. This has been so informational, super beneficial. I hope people just like, I was gonna say die over this. I don't want that, but like, just like,
Hey, we know what you mean. No, and I appreciate that. This was great. Like I said, I will always like take the opportunity to talk to another female hunter. I think we need more of them.
yeah,
Um, and like I said, if it's like we need all female hunters to be proud and confident because we are definitely in a world where you get some, I don't know, negativity back and all those things. But like hunting as a whole needs more people. We need our children involved. We need our females. We need everyone to go
yeah,
enjoy the outdoors. But yeah, I appreciate you having me and it was fun. It was a
yeah.
great talk. Honestly, the hour has flown by. Like it doesn't even feel like it was an hour.
I
So
know, I know. It was great. So thank you, and everyone, we will catch you next time.
thank you.
At Hartung Taxidermy, we specialize in preserving memories of the hunt or the catch. Tyler can create lifelike lasting memories that capture the essence of your experiences. What they offer? Custom taxidermy, specializing in turkeys to big game like bear, mountain lions, bobcats, and deer. We craft stunning pieces that showcase the unique characteristics of each animal. Why choose Hartung Taxidermy? Tyler is a skilled and passionate craftsman with years of experience. He creates detail oriented, lifelike creations that stand the test of time. Also, affordable pricing and a commitment to the customer satisfaction. Bring your memories to life with Hartung Taxidermy. Contact them today to schedule a consultation. Call 715 416 4008 or visit him at Hartung Taxidermy on Facebook or Instagram.